In this video, we're going to be exploring the all-new residential sample project available in Revit 2027. There's actually quite a bit that we can learn by exploring how these models have been built. So in this video, we're going to go through everything and explain how this model is set up. Let's go. Now, quickly, before we jump into Revit, I would just like to ask you to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com. Link is up in the cards above and then also down in the description of this video. We are an Autodesk authorized training center and we provide over 150 hours of Revit training. So if you're interested in mastering Revit, that's the best place to be. Now, without any further ado, let's jump straight into Revit. And here we are in Revit. I'm here in the project environment. I'm just clicking this button. Now to open up the sample project, you don't have to search for it here in the recent files. You can simply go here to the file menu, then go to open, and then here we have sample files. It's going to open up the folder, and here we have the Pacific Continental Residence sample. And then I'm just going to hit open and it's going to open up that file. So once that's open, you can see a sheet that is a cover sheet. So this has been set up as the the first view that you see. This is something that you can actually set up here in manage and manage project. Here we have the option for starting view, and then as you can see here, the starting view has been set up to this sheet. You can simply change it to whatever you like. Now we can notice here that we have a single project. However, here we have three very different images. You can see from this kind of entrance, it's a hexagon, and all of these are an octagon. But you can see here we have this kind of brick. Here we have a window. Here we have a light. So it's quite different for all of these, and these are design options. So it has three different design options, and now we're going to be explaining all of those and the setup here in the views. So here in the views, you can see the views have been divided into architecture, coordination, and then mechanical. And then when we explode or expand the architectural, we can see it goes into structural plans, floor plans for roof. These are architectural plans. Okay, makes sense. Then floor plans, site plan. Then we have the working plan and so on and so forth. So this is basically how things have been set up for architectural plans. For coordination, we just have this, and for mechanical, again, just some 3D views. Also, we can notice here for schedules, we have typical schedules and working schedules, and then you can expand both of those. Then here for sheets, you can see that they have been divided across design options. So we have three design options. So these three inside of the project, and these are the names of those. And then for each design option, we have multiple views, and then views are separated in architectural and marketing. So how do you set this up in this very interesting and intricate way? Well, here on the views discipline, you right click and then you can open up browser organization. And here you can basically set up how the breakdown in the project browser is going to look like. So here it has been set to discipline. And now if I click edit, you can see under grouping and sorting, it goes first under discipline, and then it goes under family and type. So the discipline, in this case, I'm guessing that's architectural and structural and coordination, right? No, architectural, coordination, and then mechanical. So it has been divided in that way. Now, if I right click here again, go to browser organization, for sheets, you can see it goes by sheet group. So if I click on edit, here under grouping, it's just going to go under sheet group. It's going to use that parameter to basically sort the views. Or sheets in this case, yeah, sheets. So if I cancel out of here, we can see for schedules, it's by type. So if I go to edit, we can see it's simply set up by view template. So it's just going to go according, or it's going to group it according to the view template for the schedules. So here, if we take a look at the schedules, we have this typical schedule, and we can open up one of these. So here it has been set up by that view group, for example. Okay, let's go back and open up browser organization. Finally, we have the panel schedules, so that's just been set to all. Okay, now let's go down again to sheets, and you may say, okay, but it's set to be to architectural or marketing, but how do we set it up to follow the design options? It really doesn't have that option here in the browser organization. For sheets, you can see edit doesn't mention the design option anywhere here. So what was done over here is this was created by using the sheet collections. So each one of these is a new sheet collection. So if I want a new one, I can just click here on new sheet collection, and we have this collection 1, and then I can place sheets inside of this sheet collection. So it's a great way to structure and organize your sheets, in this case according to design options. So I'm just going to right click and delete this one because we don't need it. For schedules, you can see here I can right click on schedules, so we can just create new schedules, or we can go to browser organization for schedules and then edit how those are going to be set up. So now I'm just going to cancel out of here, and here you can see that view template. So for example, here we have view templates typical and working, and basically you pick out one of these, and then it's going to set that schedule into either here into schedule typical or schedule working. If I were to go here and then create a new one or duplicate, and let's call it new test template and click apply, okay, you'll see here we now have this new test template and it has those analytical spaces. Now I don't want that, so let's put it back to typical, apply. Okay, there we go. Now it's back to the original setup. So that's how browser organization has been set up for this particular project. Now, if you would like to learn more about browser organization, I actually covered that in the intermediate to advanced level course. This is our newly recorded course. We had an old version. Now we have a new 2.0 version. It's an Autodesk certified course, so you can actually get it with a Revit license and an Autodesk certificate at the end. So I'm just going to link that up in the cards above and also down in the description of this video. So feel free to check it out if you want to learn more about the project browser organization and many other intermediate and advanced topics inside of Revit. Okay, now let's continue and let's talk about views and their graphical setup. So here you can see for our floor plans, we have this level 1, and then basically for each design option a different view. And then we have presentation level 1, and then for each design option a different view. So let's open up one of these, and I'm going to close this and this. And now we can see this is a typical kind of working or presentation view that has dimensions and everything. So this is kind of the main level. And if I open up the rest of these, you'll see kind of small differences. So you can notice here, see how it has this kind of extra window or large window that goes kind of outside of the wall. And then here it doesn't have that one. It just has a flat window. And then this one also has a flat window, and yeah, I think there are some differences. Okay, here's a fireplace. This one doesn't have it. This one doesn't have it as well. So there are some minor differences here on the exterior, at least in the floor plan view. In the 3D views, you've seen it's kind of more exaggerated, the differences. You can notice those. So yeah, those are the different design options, and so these are kind of the technical plans, and then we have the presentation ones, which look like this. So it's basically the same views, it's just set up like this, like these presentation views. So you may be thinking, okay, this looks very nice, but how do I set them up to look so different? Well, this has been done quite easily by implementing view templates. So in any view like this, you can go to the properties panel, scroll down to identity data, and then here we have view template. So for example, here we can notice that furniture is grayed out, or it's kind of a halftone, whereas things like casework, those can have regular black color or black lines. So what's going on here? Same thing with the bathroom fixtures. We can see those have black lines. We can see this better, yeah, and the showers, but these are gray. So if I go here to the view template for architectural plan, we can see all of the view templates here, but for this particular template, if I go to visibility graphics overrides, open that up here, if I scroll down, I'll find, see, furniture, the halftone is checked on. So that's why that happens. Now, if we just cancel out of here and out of here as well, let's go to the presentation view. Now, this one is quite different. So first I thought perhaps the dimensions have been turned off. So if I go to view template for this one, it's called presentation plan. So it's this one, it's not the architectural plan. So if I go to visibility graphics for annotation, we can see that everything is basically checked on, almost everything. So it's not that the dimensions have been turned off, it's just that this view, I'm guessing they've duplicated this view to create this one, and they just did it without the annotation. So that's why we don't have any dimensions. However, we do have quite an interesting presentation. You can see these blue walls, and we have some shadows. So how did that happen? Well, here in the VG overrides for the model, if I scroll down, we can see halftone for casework in this case as well. And then if we scroll down for furniture too. Now here for patterns, see how floors have a pattern. So it's a solid fill, this gray color pattern, and that's why the floors are gray. If we go down as well, we can see, okay, halftone for planting, plumbing equipment, and plumbing fixtures. Planting is actually turned off completely, but it's also halftone, so that's kind of redundant, but okay. Specialty equipment is halftone, and then here we can find walls, and you can see walls have a pattern override for cut, because the walls are obviously being cut by the floor plan. So we can see here it's that solid fill blue color for the foreground. So that's how this was achieved. So if I cancel out of here, that's how you get gray furniture, blue walls, and gray or kind of halftone furniture, gray floor, and blue walls. Now you also may notice something a bit strange. See here how this casework, this is the, I don't know what this is, like the island, it has a shadow, and the walls have a shadow as well. But this, what is this, like a shelf, and this table with chairs and these stools here, they don't really have the shadows. Now, if I try to change the detail level here, it's not going to allow me to, it's just going to stay coarse. So what I would need to do is go here to view template, either change the detail level here in the view template to fine, for example, and then hit apply. But again, it doesn't really change that. So it's not the issue with the view template, but it's the issue with how these families are built. Now, it may be an issue in terms of like a graphical representation, but this is actually what you do in order to make sure that the model performs a lot quicker and a lot better. So what's being done here, same thing with the bed. If I click Edit Family, you'll notice here, yeah, it's a 3D family, obviously. So why isn't it casting shadows? Well, if I open up the reference level, you can see that here, outside, there's this detail item. So it's basically masking the 3D object below. It's only showing us the it's only showing us this detail item. If I select the 3D geometry and then go to visibility settings, see in the plan view, it's turned off. So we're not going to see 3D geometry in the plan. But if I turn this on and then click OK, load it into the project and override, see, now the bed casts that shadow. So is this a mistake? No, you do this because you don't want to increase the compute time too much. So that's why you would turn this off. I just want to show you what that would look like when you turn it back on. So let's now move forward. There's actually quite a bit to learn from this model. I think this is fun, so please tell me in the comment section below, is this fun for you? I can do this more for other sample projects and interesting files. Okay, let's now explore the design options and how that has been set up. So we can see here we have this one, and this one. They're all a little bit different. and that has been done through design options. Now, if I zoom in and I can select this island, I can select this table, I can select this door, but when we get to this door, I cannot select it. I cannot select this one as well. I can select this one, but not this door. If I try to select this wall, I cannot. It's just selecting the floor below. So what's going on here? Why can't I select the window or anything basically on the outside? Well, because inside of this floor plan or this model, we can see that no matter which design option you take a look at, these things on the interior are going to be the same. For example, this bed, it's there. If I go to this one, it's there. If I go to this one, it's there. So it doesn't change. So that's why it's selectable. Other things that do change, like the exterior of the building or this sofa here, well, those are locked in with the design option. So if you want to make changes to that specific design option, you can do a couple of things. One thing to do is just go here to exclude options. And now I can select anything. I can select the wall, the door, whatever I like. And here we can notice that this door has been built with the new option to add a host. So here we have this kind of hosted wall on the exterior, just something interesting to add there. But yeah, this is how you edit design options. You have to turn or click here on exclude option, or you can go here to main model and then see which one has this been set up to. So this is the Dover. So if I set this to Dover, now everything on the inside is grayed out. However, I can model the things that are part of that particular design option. So it's an interesting way of editing design options in Revit. So now I'm just going to set this back to main model, and let's continue on the topic of design options. And you may be thinking, well, how do you actually set this up to have different views with different design options? How does that work? Well, it's actually really simple. So what you want to do is you want to go here to Visibility Graphics Overrides, click on Edit, and then you can see these things are kind of grayed out. However, here if I go to Design Options, that's available, and for this view, so this is the Charmant. I'm sorry if my pronunciation is off, but you can see here the design option is set to this. Now, can I make this smaller? Nope. So let's just move it kind of off to the side a little bit. So I'm just going to move this here, go to Visibility Graphics Overrides, and then go to Design Options. And here we can see if I change it from this one to, for example, El Cabriolet, it's going to change if I hit Apply. Just make sure you're looking at the model. I hit Apply, it changes. If I set it to Dover, hit Apply, it changes, and so on. So you can kind of play around with setting up the view, but of course you want to make sure that the name of the view here matches the design option that's been set up over here. So that's how design options work. And design options, as well as it's a topic that we cover in the intermediate to advanced level course. As I said, the link is down in the description of this video, so check it out. It's an Autodesk certified course. So if you want to learn about those and many other topics like phasing and groups and filters and so on, you can find that there. So there we go. That's this really interesting, really cool project. I really like it. Oops, this is the bed. That doesn't matter. So it's an interesting project. It's really cool. If you would like to see more videos like this, please tell me in the comment section below. And if there are some other interesting things that you have noticed with this particular project, please tell me in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com, for more Revit courses. There I have over 120 hours of content, and I'm adding more each week. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and also I've added a video over there that might interest you as well.